All. Let's open a heavy one. Not myth, not rumor, not esoteric, maybe. This one is historical, documented, undeniable, and still treated like a side note in textbooks, which tells you everything. We're about to talk about knowledge so powerful they killed a woman in the street to stop it. Yeah, that kind of scroll. Scroll of Hypatia, the woman they erased because she taught humans to think like gods. A true esoteric story of the library flame, forbidden mathematics, and the day wisdom was dragged through the streets. Chapter 1. The Last Light of Alexandria. Before Constantine's church hardened doctrine, before Rome crowned belief over knowledge, there was Alexandria. And in Alexandria stood something the empire quietly feared: the library. Not just books, blueprints, star charts, alchemy, geometry, African, Egyptian, Greek, Persian, Indian sciences, all under one roof. Humanity's memory bank. And at the center of it walked Hypatia, teacher, mathematician, astronomer, engineer, philosopher. Not nun, not mystic, not symbolic, scientist. Why she was dangerous. Here's what made her lethal to empire. She taught people how to think. Not what to believe, how to think. She taught geometry of the cosmos, planetary motion, sacred mathematics, philosophy without priests, direct inquiry without doctrine. Students came from everywhere: Christians, pagans, Africans, Romans. She didn't convert anyone, she awakened them. And an awakened population cannot be ruled through fear. The crime of intelligence. At this exact moment in history, Christian authority was consolidating power. Doctrine was replacing discovery. Faith was replacing questioning. And here's Hypatia, teaching truth must be tested, knowledge must be questioned, authority must be earned. That is poison to a growing theocracy. Because once people learn to reason, they stop kneeling automatically. Chapter 4. The Murder of Wisdom. This isn't metaphor. This isn't legend. This is recorded history. A mob of religious extremists dragged her from her chariot, stripped her, beat her, flayed her with tiles and shells, burned her body in public. Not because she was wrong, because she was influential, because she represented independent thought, because she proved you didn't need the church to access truth. After her death, Alexandria's intellectual culture collapsed. The last great flame of classical knowledge went dark, and the world entered centuries of obedience over inquiry. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect. The knowledge she carried. What was she teaching that scared them so much? Receipts. She worked on early calculus concepts, planetary orbit mechanics, astrolabes, navigation tech, hydrometers, advanced algebraic methods. Translation. She was pushing humanity hundreds of years ahead. If her line had continued uninterrupted, the Dark Ages might not have happened. Let that sink in. One murdered teacher, 1,000 years of delay. Now, the part they don't say out loud. Hypatia represents the feminine wisdom plus science union. She embodied intellect plus intuition, math, mysticism, logic's compassion. She was living proof that wisdom does not require hierarchy, truth does not require clergy, divinity does not require permission, so she had to be erased, because she broke the whole system simply by existing. Every time, teachers are silenced, books are banned, knowledge is politicized, science is suppressed, women's intelligence is minimized. You are watching the same pattern replay. Constantine standardized doctrine. Hypatia represented freedom of mind. Empire chose doctrine. But here's the twist. They killed the body. They didn't kill the frequency. Because now, millions of people are waking up asking questions again, reading again, researching again, trusting intuition again, thinking for themselves again. Which means Hypatia didn't lose, she multiplied. They tried to end her story. Instead, she became a signal. Every curious mind is her descendant. Every truth seeker is her bloodline. Every person who questions authority carries her flame. They burned the library, but they couldn't burn memory. And now the collective is remembering how to think like gods again. No incense smoke. No trust me, bro. History, documents, names, dates. Because Hypatia is not legend. She is one of the best documented intellectual assassinations in world history. Let's open the archive. Receipts, Scroll of Hypatia Historical Academic Documentation. Behind the scroll 1, Hypatia was a real historical scholar, not myth. Verified facts. Born 355 to 370 CE, died 415 CE. City, Alexandria, Egypt. Profession, mathematician, astronomer, philosopher, teacher. Head of the Neoplatonic school. She publicly lectured men and political leaders, extremely rare for a woman in late antiquity. Primary ancient sources. These are not modern retellings. These are contemporary writers. Socrates Scholasticus, Ecclesiastical History, 5th century. Damasius, Life of Isidore. John of Nicu, Chronicle, Letters of Synesius of Cyrene, her student. These documents mention her by name and describe her teaching and murder. That's rock-solid historical ground. 2. She was teaching advanced mathematics and science, not spiritual philosophy, hard science. Attributed works. Scholars agree she edited or taught commentaries on Euclid, geometry, work on Ptolemy, planetary models, commentaries on Diophantus, early algebra, construction of astrolabes, navigation astronomy tools, hydrometers, density measurement devices. Modern academic references, Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, Hypatia entry, Oxford Classical Dictionary, Maria Gielska, Hypatia of Alexandria, definitive scholarly biography. Translation into plain English. She was doing algebra, astronomy, engineering, applied physics. This is STEM 1600 years early. 3. She was politically influential. This is key. She wasn't just a quiet professor. She advised city officials, governors, elites, philosophers, most notably Orestes, Roman prefect of Alexandria. This put her in direct conflict with Cyril of Alexandria, Cyril's rising church power, Hypatia, independent intellectual authority. That's a power struggle, not theology, politics. 4. Her murder is documented, not speculation. Socrates Scholasticus writes, paraphrased historically, a Christian mob dragged her from her carriage, stripped her, beat her, killed her with tiles, shells, burned the body. This is in a church historian's own writing, not anti-church propaganda. Even Christian historians admitted it. Modern academic consensus. Edward Watts, Hypatia, The Life and Legend. Maria Gielska, Historical Reconstruction, Cambridge Ancient History. All agree her death was religious political violence, not rumor. 5. Alexandria's intellectual collapse after her death. Timeline matters. After 415 CE, pagan schools shut down, philosophical teaching declined, church authority centralized knowledge, independent inquiry decreased. Historians refer to this period as late antique intellectual contraction. Not instantly dark ages, but a major narrowing of scholarship. Hypatia is widely considered the last major classical scholar of Alexandria, meaning she symbolically marks the end of an era of open inquiry. Number 6, why she's important today, scholarly view. Modern historians describe her as martyr for philosophy, symbol of free inquiry, casualty of religious extremism, bridge between ancient science and medieval suppression, not esoteric, academic. She's taught in history of science courses, women in STEM courses, late Roman history, philosophy departments. Straight truth. Facts we can safely stand on. She existed. She taught mathematics, astronomy. She influenced politics. She conflicted with church power. She was murdered by a religious mob. Scholarship declined after nothing mystical required. History alone is shocking enough.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, C-star, Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Collective reminder. When knowledge threatens power, power attacks the teacher first. But here's the beautiful part. They killed one Hypatia. Now there are millions of truth seekers. Meaning the idea won. Always does.
You only have to say nothing. I already know. I know.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Truth doesn't die when a voice is attacked. It multiplies. Every time you question, learn, research, and think for yourself, you continue the work they tried to stop. Your curiosity is rebellion. Your intelligence is inheritance. Your mind is sacred ground. Walk bold. Knowledge has always been your birthright.